So the Census Bureau revealed yesterday that for the first time in American history over the last year, less than 50% of babies born in this country were white. And considering how badly everyone took it when the Salon.com page layout became less than 50% white, a lot of people are wondering if Americans are going to freak the fuck out about this news with the babies. Or more specifically, as the Shakespeare Sister blog put it, some whites may be afraid that people of color are now going to get into power and then they're going to treat white people as badly as white people have historically treated people of color. This is a pretty well entrenched idea. Louis C.K. even has a whole riff about it, which is hilarious. But if there are any white people who are seriously worried about this, I just want to assure you that's not going to happen. And I can tell you that for sure because I'm a member of the People of Color Advisory Board. We meet once a month and we decide what the official people of color position is on various issues. And we had a conference call yesterday about this baby thing. I talked to all the other members, Melissa Harris Perry, Edward James Olmos, Professor Gayatri Spivak, the Tupac hologram, and we all agreed that we are not going to do that to you. I mean, first of all, it's not going to happen because that advisory board doesn't actually exist, and the many constituencies that make up what we call people of color are not some monolithic entity that's united in our lust for revenge against white people. And as I alluded to in my Trayvon video, I think one of the most remarkable things about American history is how much love and how much faith most people of color still have in this country, despite all the chapters of history that could make us feel otherwise. And the other thing is, this is not going to cause some cataclysmic shift where suddenly we have all the power. Race and ethnicity are part of what makes up the power structure, but they're intertwined with class and political and economic stratification. And when you factor those things in, all this really means is we're going to be more than 50% of the 99%. The 1%, loosely speaking, is still going to be the same 500 people. We're just becoming the numerical majority of the masses of people that are getting shafted most of the time. This will probably change how race intersects with class and gender and so on to shape the dynamics of the shafting. There must be a better way to phrase that. But it's not going to turn the world upside down and put all the non-white people in charge all of a sudden. That's not how it's going to work. And I mean, I don't know exactly what the long-term effects will be, and like many stories, I don't think this is something you can analyze properly in the first news cycle. I think you have to let this marinate for like 20, 50 years before you can really know what it means. But my guess is that the long-term effects are going to be subtle and gradual and mostly positive. At least on an interpersonal, social level, it means that future generations are going to keep on getting more comfortable with diversity and less freaked out by stuff like this. And the biggest short-term impact will be the turbulence caused by people who are freaked out by stuff like this. And by no means do I think that applies to all white people. But for those of you who are invested in the assumption that this is your country and white is synonymous with normal and you feel freaked out about losing that, I just want to say, I get it. It's only natural that when you're attached to that privilege and fear and intolerance and you realize the tide of history is turning against you, you're gonna panic. You're gonna rage against the dying of the light. We saw it in the aftermath of electing a black president. You see it right now in this battle over marriage equality. Intolerance never goes gently into that good night. But seriously, the more you can resist that urge, the easier it'll be for everybody. I promise we are not gonna turn into gremlins after midnight once we're in the majority or when we're able to marry whoever we want to marry. It's gonna be cool. And no matter how much you rage against it, that good night is coming. So you might as well make peace with it. Because I promise that once that good night arrives and then morning comes, you're gonna wake up and look around and wonder what it was you were so afraid of. It's gonna be cool, I'm telling you.